Hey guys, welcome back to Blind Strike Exotics. I'm John, and today we are going to cut our 12th clutch of the season, which is Big Puma's 4th and final clutch. In this clutch, he was bred to a super inchy ghost, or hypo, however you want to call it. I don't really care what comes out of this clutch, except for one thing. I'm trying to prove out whether or not Puma is pastel as well. So he's OD, inchy, pinstripe, leopard for sure. But with his third clutch, one or two of the hatchlings look like they're possibly super pastel. If you watch my other videos, I found out that I have two super inchy OD females he was bred to. They were sisters, and it looked like the offspring, the offspring do have pastel in them. So I contacted the person I bought the two females from, and he said that the person he bought the snakes from said they didn't have pastel, but he talked to a couple other breeders and they all thought they probably did have pastel. So I'm assuming that those two females have pastel because the offspring in both clutches definitely do have pastel. In this clutch, I'm trying to figure out if Puma has pastel, because if he does, that would explain why some of the snakes in the third clutch look like they're probably super pastel, because they're extremely yellow and they have like white spots on the head where the cross is, what I was calling the ankh. So I'm hoping that I get that ankh in this clutch. They'd be inchy pastel if I get any. So that's when that ankh shows up, was when you combine inchy and pastel and leopard in there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he turned out to be pastel, so I can prove that those snakes are super pastel. Because if they are super pastel, that raises the ticket price, because there's a bunch of other genes in there too. And if I can prove that there's supers in there, those snakes, the price tags go up, so that's good for me. So, and that also helps me determine whether or not I keep Puma, which I may actually do at this point, because I didn't get I got two males out of those two clutches that I would have kept, I had 10 babies out of the two super inchy OD female clutches, and all of the snakes that I would want to keep are female, and the two males that I got were kind of more plain, so I wouldn't keep those two. So Puma looks like he may stay here for another breeding season, because I wasn't able to upgrade his gene pool, or his gene set in my collection, and hopefully he proves out to be pastel, because if he is, then he's a 5-gene snake, which is pretty valuable. So let's cut these 5 open and keep our fingers crossed that he proves out. Alright, now I don't typically cut eggs before they pip, and these aren't at the due date yet. However, they're starting to desiccate pretty good, or shrink, and they were laid like a day after my Mochi and Bamboo Ultra Milk clutch. So I'm just gonna cut these just to make sure everything's going okay. They're incubating at the same time, the same place, so I'm assuming that we're gonna be okay to cut these. I probably wouldn't even dream of doing this if it was a more important clutch, but so this snake is extremely bright. I'm gonna say it's probably super inchy, definitely pinstripe and leopard, and judging by the blushing on the head stamp, maybe pastel. It's a very, very, very yellow snake, if that comes up in the video there. Huh. And because these were, the mom was a ghost, or hypo, everything in this clutch is going to be 100% het hypo. So I may actually keep something in here if I get a male that's really neat, because I'd like to... The super inchy ghost, the female that I have, looks awesome, and I'm really curious to see, once you start mixing in a bunch of other genes, what these snakes start to look like, because she's really cool just with super inchy. And if I can get your head out of here. This one just looks like an inchy. Literally the most plain snake we could have gotten out of here. I don't believe it has pastel. So that's just, oops, sorry, I got a video there. That just looks like a plain inchy, possibly Orange Dream. But I'll wait till that comes out. Definitely doesn't have anything else in there. It's funny, I went from cutting 12 eggs to cutting 5 eggs. There's a big difference. This video is probably going to be half the length because of I have to cut less than half as many eggs. But it's okay. This is actually, I won't be cutting another clutch here for another couple weeks. The next clutch was laid like 2 or 3 weeks later. And that clutch was actually pretty kind of pedestrian. So I don't have high hopes for that. That clutch. So this one is kind of upside down. Looks like it's okay, but I think it's okay. Yeah. This has kind of the same head stamp as the last one. Looks like it's probably super inchy. Pinstripe. Maybe I guess leopard too. And the head stamp's really light. So maybe that's a pastel. I was honestly looking for kind of some plain inchies to see that pastel come out, or a similar snake to the other ones in the other clutches where it was pastel inchy, leopard, OD, because that was very, very easy to tell in those clutches that they were pastel. It might be a little harder with these if they none of them. I'm almost getting too many genes in these couple snakes here, which you never think you'd be complaining about, but when you're trying to prove out a gene, it's kind of hard to. This one's really pretty. This one, can't see the head. It's definitely a pinstripe. Oh, where's your head at, buddy? This one's more of an orange, so I bet you maybe this is a pinstripe leopard inchy OD, but that would be Big Puma. I wish I could see the head, but it's tucked in there somewhere. So I'm gonna leave it go. But these two snakes here are a lot lighter. This one's a lot like a darker yellow orange color. This looks closer to what Puma looked like when he came out of the egg. These two are a lot brighter. So with these 4 that I cut so far, I hit good odds in terms of how many genes I got out of these. I don't know if it's helping me determine what Puma has. I think those first 2 bright ones that I cut have to be pastel. Oh, there's another one this one's almost like white. This is a really broken up pattern. And the head isn't here either. Huh. Well, I can say that I am happy that I had some good odds in here with the genes that came out of it. This one's really, really bright. That might be because it wasn't maybe fully ready to come out yet and it didn't develop all its color. It's moving in there, so it's alive. I have no reason to believe that it's not going to hatch or that it's unhealthy. But it's funny, I was complaining about not hitting pinstripe in the other clutches, and I hit it in 4 out of 5 eggs here. Oy, oy, oy. I'm gonna have to wait for these all to come out to see their head stamps more clearly. This snake is almost like white. Like there's like a small tinge of yellow and orange in it, but the snake's almost completely white. So that couldn't even tell you what that is. This one looks very close to what Puma looked like when he hatched. These two are a lot more yellow than what Puma looked like. Puma was more of an orangey gold color. I get more orange color. These two are more yellow. These two I would say are probably definitely super inchy. Just judging by the head stamp. But these guys will be popping out here in a couple days, and then we'll have a better idea of what's going on. I'll have 4 clutches from Big Puma to compare the genes of them all. This clutch, I guess, is similar to the Super Inchy OD pastel females, except that we don't have the OD in the pastel, so it takes extra 2 genes out of it, so I shouldn't have, I won't have any pastel from the female or OD from the female, so it takes Super OD and Super Pastel out of the mix, assuming that Puma has pastel. So these can't be Super OD, they can't be Super Pastel, but they can be Super Inchy, and they can potentially have pastel if he proves out to be pastel. They can also have OD, a single OD, pinstripe, and 4 of them do, and leopard. So we'll wait for these guys to come out. Hopefully once they get out of their eggs, they help us clarify what's going on in Puma's gene pool. And because some of the eggs from the other clutches, some of the hatchlings are almost ready to go here, so I want to get the best ID that I can for people when they're looking to buy those snakes. So a couple days, these guys will be out of here, and we'll hopefully be able to get some better IDs. So thank you again for stopping by, and we will see you next time.